welcome everyone to this spiritual meeting for the month of August 2023. I hope that all of you are enjoying the peace and bliss of the ever present changeless reality consciousness. So, pranam to all of you. So, the topic that was given by the sage for this month is the heart as taught by sage Ramana. So you see, when we talk about the heart, look at the physical form, right? So the physical form has got a physical heart, which is the central core organ of the human body. So I'm just talking in terms of the physical body. So you see, the heart actually sustains the physical body right from the time we are actually born. It's pumping blood, between say about 68 to about 80 pulses, depending upon the type of human being. And as it pulsates, blood is sent to different organs of the body, to every single cell, and basically there's exchange of gases. Oxygen goes in, carbon dioxide is taken in, and so the cycle goes on. So, it is actually quite beautiful that this changeless reality consciousness, based on this, what we call as the law of correspondences, when it has become this physical form, so correspondingly, there is what we call a physical heart. So now we just translate this heart to what we call as the changeless reality. Just like the heart is sustaining the physical form, similarly, you see, the question which arises is that what is it that sustains this entire world of images? When we talk about the world of images, we are talking about it doesn't matter what the plane is, whether it's up to the level of the creator, the preserver, the destroyer, Lord Shiva or the Trinity. Basically, they are actually all images. Now, everything actually, when you look at it, if you look at your own personal experience, is basically sustained by this simple consciousness. And this consciousness, this is the heart, right? This is what Sage Ramana went, that we must transcend or return back to the heart. Just a very simple example comes to my mind. When you leave your house, you may go anywhere, you may travel into a foreign country, or, you may go to a friend's house, or you may go on a short holiday, or you may go to work. What happens? You see, look at it. You always return back home. You come back to your house, and that's where you feel, perfectly at ease. Similarly, you may wander as much as you may like into this world of images, from one life to another, from one relationship to another relationship, from one set of activities to another set of activities. But at no point do you ever leave this heart or consciousness. And that's what Sage Ramana said, that in the end, you have to come to an end of this wandering, and you need to return back to this heart. Let me throw some more light on this. You see, when you look at it just to your own personal experience, you see there is something which is actually illuminating this physical form. Correct? Something is illuminating this physical form in the sense that we are conscious that we have this physical form, and this physical form has a name and it does some activity. Similarly, something is illuminating these thoughts of ours because we are conscious of the thoughts. Something is illuminating these feelings of ours, these so called desires, right? So, that which is illuminating this physical form, our thoughts, our feelings, and then something's actually illuminating this world of images around us, right? Even as I'm communicating, leaving to one side what is being communicated, look at one thing. See, You're conscious, you have a physical form, your conscious thoughts come to you, your conscious feelings come to you, you're conscious of all the activities that you do, and even now you're conscious that we are all together united in this so-called spiritual meeting or satsang. So you see, the key word, it is again the heart. You see, this heart is actually consciousness. This is the home, and this is where you've got to return, right? See, when I attained that state of illumination, the realization actually which had come was that this consciousness actually, this is the changeless reality. And look, consciousness will always be there. It was there before we started this discussion. It's there during this discussion, and it will be there after this discussion is finished. It's there before actually you took birth. It's there while you are in this physical form, and it will be there when you leave the physical form. There is no point that the heart, the changeless reality, consciousness is absent. And this is basically all the scriptures, all those who became illumined, the illumined sages. You see, all the religions ultimately, eventually, they're only talking about this, you see. And the beauty is, this is not known by discussions. This is not known by thoughts. It's not known by feelings. It is directly perceived silent. You see, words fail to actually, describe, you see, what this consciousness is, what this heart is. That's why, one very beautiful thing I had written when this, state of illumination had actually come on 21st of September 2016, that such is its presence, it's calm, peaceful, changeless, and ever present. What can you say? What can you do? What can you write? And what can you really guide? Such is its presence, because without its presence, it is the primary aspect. Without its presence, nothing is actually possible, you see. So, look, I think I've given a good snapshot of basically what the heart is. So I'll ask Rajeev ji to, continue with the discussion followed by Vijay. Thank you. Rajeev ji, would you please come in?
Thank you, Anilji. Really grateful for the fine introduction and in very simple words. I welcome the fine group that we have here. We will look at a couple of slides together to take this point a little further. So I'll share the slides and I'll share some of the songs that I wanted to share with this fine audience. So let's get to the slides together, please. Just confirming that we can all see the screen here. Is it clear to all of us, please?
It's clear.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So building on what Anilji had elaborated so kindly, Sage Ramana has mentioned the same thought that it is the heart which is the reality. Mind is transient, and we should just enter the heart for that complete experience. Fortunately, there are many a poet, many a singers, many an artist who have projected this point through different media. And I will share that as we proceed. So the first little point that I want to share, it is coming from probably a very, very high caliber team. The music director I'm referring to is Sachin Dev Burman. And the poet who has put together these words, his name is Shailendra. The particular song that I'm referring to is about 60 years back. If you look at a person like Sachin Dev Burman, he comes from a royal lineage. He did not have to do really much to get on with life. But he chose at a very young age that music is my domain. That's where I want to be. So he left his bearings, moved to the big city of Bombay, and started his career as a music composer. He is so well regarded that there are people, producers in the industry, who used to wait outside his house that please take our movie for music. And of course, he was very discreet. He will decide which movie meets his framework. And very often we find that the music that he is composing is essentially of a very spiritual kind. He was very sensitive to the culture of the place. He was a very early man. And the same holds for the poet that we are referring to, that is Shailendra. He has given something like 1,000+ songs to the industry. And today, almost 7 decades on, his songs are still remembered. They're still talked about. They convey a lot of meaning. So these two people, when they come together, in fact, this particular movie that I'm referring to, I'll share it very shortly. The name of the movie is Guide. And you can see how much effort has gone in, how much time they have given. At a particular cross section, a particular song has been composed, and the producer rang Sachin that, sir, somehow the song is not having that sharpness. And Sachin Dev Burman, being such a tall figure that he was, he said, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Late at night, he rang up the producer and said, I understand what you're saying. I'll come to your place and will compose the song again. So their dedication is phenomenal. They're very much with the theme that they're working on. It is not that you're just composing music. Yes, that's one of your major tasks, but the more important thing is that you are with the theme, you are with the meaning, you are with the song, and that's what you are conveying. Just a very simple point, Sachin Da was that popular in the Indian context that the famous Indian cricketer Sachin Tendulkar was given the name Sachin after Sachin Dev Burman. So he is very well regarded not only in the film industry, but in the country as such. Coming to the song that I mentioned a few minutes back, it is from the movie called Guide. The movie was well ahead of its time. In fact, many a critic acknowledged that the theme that the team has taken up is not suitable for that time. It is something like 3 decades ahead of its time. Looking back, the theme would appear pretty routine here. I'll not go into too much detail, respecting the effort made by the team. There's a particular song that I want to share. I'll share in the next couple of minutes. The song basically says, where will you go? Tu jayega kahan? And in that, there's a particular set of words that they are using. It says, the learned ones have told us that the world is fleeting. कहते हैं ज्ञानी, दुनिया है फानी. Whatever you are seeing, as we were saying, it is illusion. It says writing on water. It is temporary. पानी पे लिखी कहानी. We have all seen it. We all know it. है सबकी देखी, है सबकी जानी. So deliberately, I have listed the link as well. One can certainly enjoy the song as convenient. And I'm very happy to take questions at any point. So without any delay, I'll share the song with you. Hopefully, we can all enjoy it as we go along.
Because of that copyright issue, we can't play it for more than about 5 seconds or 7 seconds.
Sure, I'll keep it brief. I acknowledge what you're saying. We'll keep it very brief. I just want to introduce the song, and of course, the link is there. We can all
Yeah, the link is there.
link is there.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah.
Once again, requesting we can see the screen, please. I'm about to play the song now.
Yeah.
So that was the first song I wanted to share. I'll continue with the presentation with that. I'll share the next set of slides and we'll proceed with that, please. I take it that the slides are visible again. Repeat,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. The next artist I want to share is by the name Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Nusrat Saab is probably the most known singer. In fact, I shouldn't call him just a singer, he's a master of the tradition called Qawwali, where a group of people are singing together. It is designed like that. He has got international reputation. He has worked with many, many known artists, both on the eastern side and the western side. You can see that when he sings, his whole body is in tune. Whether it is the expression on the face, it is the movement of his body, his hands, the whole persona is involved. And the songs that he chose, they're very much devotional songs. They are pointing to the same theme as we are looking at today, that is the heart. So this song that I'm going to share in the next couple of minutes, it talks about, I don't find peace for a moment without you. You can call it my Lord, my beloved, whatever is the expression comfortable. The words in the language, the local language are Sanu ikpal chain na aave, sajna tere bina. Now this particular Qawwali has hit the market some 50 years back. Extremely well accepted. He has sung this song at so many forums, very ordinary forums, very high class forums. He is very well regarded. It continues, it says, I don't find anything of interest without you, my Lord, my beloved. Sada kamla dil dub dub jave. And at one point, he takes a step further. He says, I lit a candle with the oil of my tears. Rati mein jalawan diya hanjuan de tel da. Yes, the language is different, but the expression is universally applicable. Once again, I have the link if somebody wants to listen to the song at leisure. I will share part of the song again for our common understanding, common enjoyment.
The sound is not playing in those songs, Rajeev ji. Yeah, but it's okay. Let's just continue. I think the link is there.
My apologies in that case. I'll
So
see
it's
if
all
I
right.
can. No, my apologies. I
Let's
thought it should be
Rajiv,
coming.
it's okay. Don't worry because the link
don't
is
worry
there.
about
If
that.
you want to
Yes.
listen, can listen later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I'll continue, please.
Yeah, let's stick to the slides here.
The next song that we'll be looking at, and again, all of them are classical numbers. They have been around for a very long time, and the people who have worked together, phenomenal. So the next song is coming from a movie called Ae Dile Nadan, again referring to the heart that we are talking about this evening. The composition comes from a great music director, Khayyam Saab. In fact, I'll be sharing another song from him as well. All his life, he was interested only in one thing, music. I mean, if you look at the way he steered in that direction, was almost a great risk taking. I don't want anything but music. And luckily, he was picked up by the top-notch musicians of that era, and he got good standing in the industry. He was very well regarded. Again, very selective in terms of the films that he'll pick up. He will not take every film that comes his way. And when you look at the way he was dealing with the singers, with the actors, I want to convey this meaning honestly. So this particular song, the Ae Dile Nadan, I'll share in the next couple of minutes, is again referring to the same center, the same heart that we are talking about. In this particular instance, it is sung by Lata Mangeshkar that we all know about. She was probably the most known lady singer from the Indian subcontinent. Literally thousands of songs she has given. As per her own statement, this was probably the best of her entire career. Again, like the opinions can differ, but the music, the words, and the meaning that they are conveying is phenomenal. The picturization is very good. It is done well. Hema Malini, the very well-known actress, was on the screen. You can see that the director has done a very fine job. I mean, quite often we talk about the need for pause. And in this particular song, once we look at it in detail, they have done a great job. Yes, there is music, there is word, there is, picturization. There's a lot of pause as well. So, for example, she is saying, I wander around. हम भटकते हैं. Why do I wander in this deserted wilderness? क्यों भटकते हैं? दश्तो सहरा में. And she goes on to add, again, it's the poet who is conveying the wonderful words. It seems as if I'm thirsty in my own river. ऐसा लगता है मौज प्यासी है अपने दरिया में. Now, these words naturally have been put together with great effort. In that specific flow, the words are rhyming so well. And to present it on the screen is a great task. They've done a very good job. So we'll share the song for a minute and then continue. Sorry.
The sound doesn't come, Rajeev ji. I think probably it'll have to be watched individually. I think we'll go on to the next slide.
So, sorry, I will check it later. I won't take the time of the fine audience. But as I mentioned earlier, the composition is excellent. One can enjoy at leisure. The next song that we'll be looking at is from a movie called Umrao Jaan. Again, it is nearly 4 decades back that the song was composed, sung, and shared. Once again, we are referring to the great music director Khayyam Saab, who is on the left of the picture that we have got here. The song was sung by as popular lady singer, that is Asha Bhosle, who is the younger sister of Lata ji we looked at earlier. It is interesting that a music director takes so much interest in a particular singer. In this case, Khayyam Saab requested Asha ji to keep the pitch low. And Asha ji was not very keen. I'll see if I can mute someone. There is a little bit of noise coming. I'll try to work around that.
Mhm.
So Asha ji said that no, I would prefer to sing at the high pitch. This particular song that is we are talking about from Umrao Jaan. So they both came to an understanding that Asha ji, as a favor to the great music director, will sing the song at high pitch and will also sing the song at low pitch. Whichever comes out better will share that song with the film industry. And Asha ji herself agreed once she had gone through the full process that it is the low pitch which is better. So the effort of the music director, again, we are talking about heart. The wording I'll share very shortly. You are conveying that meaning in such a subtle form. Dil cheez kya hai, aap meri jaan lijiye. Forget about my heart. You can take my life instead. Just for once, please accept what I'm saying. बस एक बार मेरा कहा मान लीजिए. And again, the poet is doing great work here. It says you have to come here again and again. So please get used to the surroundings. We are referring to the heart. दीवारों दर को गौर से पहचान लीजिए. दिल चीज क्या है आप मेरी जान लीजिए. So the mastery that these people have, again, they're not working in isolation. They're working in full collaboration with the singer, with the actress, actor, etc. They're doing justice to the theme, and I'm very comfortable sharing that. I will share the screen in terms of the song, and of course, we'll continue from there.
No, it's the same. The sound is not there,
Gosh.
Rajeev.
My apologies. We'll try to fix it later, please. Thank you.
We'll move to the next slide.
The next song that I'll be sharing is coming from a movie called Dil Ek Mandir. Again, we are referring to the same theme of the heart. Again, very well composed, very well delivered. The actress was Meena Kumari. And of course, the lead actors were Raj Kumar and Rajendra Kumar. Meena Kumari, in her own right, she has delivered many outstanding performances. She came to be known as the tragedy queen of the film industry. She has delivered many such roles. This was a well-regarded one. The theme again talks about heart, and I'll conclude with this slide. Basically, what they are saying is that heart is the temple or mosque or whatever you call it. Dil ek mandir hai. where the love is worshipped, प्यार की जिसमें होती है पूजा, ये प्रेम नगर है. This is the city of love. One of the most fundamental human requirements, which is love, is what they are referring to. They are describing the heart. I'll once again leave you with the link for the song. We'll share the song just for a couple of seconds. These songs, I feel, have done a lot of good in terms of sharing the thought with all of us. So I'll share that song and then practically get to the conclusion of the session.
Yeah, it's the same, Rajeev. There's no sound.
Friends, I will conclude my little presentation once again with the quote from sage Ramana. We are talking of pure consciousness, which is we are referring to as heart. It includes all. Nothing is outside that. So, friends, once again, many thanks for your valuable time. Thanks to Anilji and Vijayji. I'll now hand over to Vijayji, please. Thank you.
You're there, Vijay?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Rajeev. Very well, beautifully presented. You went to great lengths to put all that together. Okay. Vijay, please continue.
We'll start with 3 ohms. Om. Om. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful session. Welcome all, dear seekers in the divine. We can call ourselves seekers, but truly we already are that what we are seeking. And the topic for today, which refers to the heart as referred to by sage Ramana, is in reference to not the muscular organ, which is, as we all know, the physical organ, which is on the left side of the chest here, and which can be diagnosed, checked, etc., etc. But what is referred to here, the heart, it's referred to as the spiritual heart, which is not a physical thing, but what can be experienced. The Yoga Vashishta and some of the scriptures refer to 2 hearts, one which they call as Samvit, and the other one which is the blood vessel carrying organ. And Samvit refers to existence, intelligence, and awareness, which is that pure consciousness, that Sat Chit Ananda. Where is it placed? It's supposed to be, in theoretical terms, it is referred to as being around 2 or 3 digits from the center of the chest towards the right hand side. But that's only a reference point. There's no physical heart as such there, but it's referenced in reference to this body. During the process of investigation, during the process of the spiritual journey, there is this notion of the I-ness, which is I am the body and I am the mind. In reference to that, the spiritual heart is spoken of as a guide, because everyone refers to the I when they point and they say, who are you? So the pointing goes to I am so and so. And when they point out to I am so and so, it typically is pointed to the right side. And that's why the reference is given as the heart residing, the spiritual heart residing on the right hand side of the rib cage. The process that is referenced and the experience that is referenced by many a sage differs, because Ramana Maharshi personally, Sage Ramana has not referred to having experienced it through the heart itself, but he has referred to the heart. He experienced that Sahaja Samadhi, as they call it, through the experience of death of the body itself. But there are some other sages who have experienced it as per the reference of some of the great scriptures through the heart. It refers to the heart, which is like a rosebud, which is upturned. Sorry, it's a not rose, lotus bud, which is upturned and has a very small hole, which is referred to small hole there. And when the practitioner, the aspirant, is trying to reach that without knowing that that's how it goes, because physically, and Sage Ramana has very clearly mentioned that if you try and if the aspirant tries to bring one's attention to that heart, the attention is brought by the mind. And the moment the mind tries to point and press down towards the heart and concentrate on the heart, it escapes and goes straight to the brain, the mind. The mind escapes. So the thoughts keep coming and going, but in reference to the mind, the brain. The thought processes continues. So Sage Ramana says that the best method. So the questions were asked of Sage Ramana is, then how do we actually do it? If we can't concentrate or we don't, point towards the mind, how do we do it then? He said the only way to do it is just be still. The moment there is stillness, because stillness is your real nature, thoughts will automatically subside. So from a reference perspective again, so all this is being referred to as a reference, because as long as the I amness, as me being the body, the mind is there, the spiritual heart is spoken about. So the cosmic currents, the cosmic energy through that pure awareness passes through the solar plexus, goes through the spinal cord, takes a curve around the Sahasrara chakra at the top, and then comes down through the Shushumna Nadi. Shushumna is a nerve center, Nadi, which carries the nerves, which carries the current, and goes down to the heart, the spiritual heart. Sometimes referred to as the Anahat chakra. And settles down in the spiritual heart. Because the heart in reality is that pure awareness. When the mind goes and settles in there, it disappears like a salt doll in the ocean of pure awareness, never to be never to rise up again, because the mind is completely gone, destroyed, dissolved in the ocean of pure awareness. There are two types of, this is also a bit of a technical thing, but they've referenced this as two samadhis as such. One is a keval nirvikalpa samadhi, which is supposed to be temporary. And that hole that we have spoken about on the spiritual heart, it is normally always closed.
You lost the sound, Vijayji. There's no sound coming.
I think probably his connection has frozen.
Yeah, maybe ring him. So we'll just, I will actually continue while Vijayji resets that. Are you able to ring him or contact him?
I will.
So you see what Vijay Gokarnji is actually saying is that normally what happens is that when you are in meditation, Vijayji, have you joined?
Hello, yes. I don't know what happened. It just dropped off.
Yeah, your video. Please put the video on.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just continuing where you had stopped.
Yes.
Yeah, please continue. Yeah.
So the cosmic energies, the awareness goes through and then settles in the heart. Now we are talking about the two samadhis. So keval nirvikalpa samadhi is wherein the hole which is normally closed on the spiritual heart opens up on that lotus bud, and the mind goes in and then closes up again. But that's only temporary. As soon as it opens up, it flows out and the mind starts operating again. So that's called a temporary samadhi, where many aspirant goes into that keval nirvikalp samadhi in a state of laya, as in a state of sleep, deep sleep, and then once it comes out of it, the mind starts operating again. That's not permanent, that's only temporary. The other samadhi is called the Sahaja Samadhi, the state which sage Ramana was in, where the little hole on the spiritual heart remains open all the time. The mind passes through and gets dissolved in the mind and then operates, because the spiritual heart is actually the self, pure awareness. Functioning happens from that spiritual heart, which is pure awareness, because the mind is gone. There's no more mind functioning. That's from the perspective of theory. When the aspirant is striving on the path, when that is experienced, then that experience leads to only functioning where there is no I, there's no doer. There's no one to claim that I have dissolved the mind in that heart, because there is no I. That is what the heart is referenced, the spiritual heart is referenced to. Because the heart, the scriptures refer to the heart as another name for reality, and is not inside or outside the body. Only until such time that the I am this body, I am this mind is there, it is referenced. Otherwise, in reality, it is not inside or outside. It alone is. As everyone experiences it, even right now, here and now. When one experiences that I am so and so, and that's a personality. the I am so and so is a personality. When there is that only that I amness, there is a knowing of that I amness. So who is the knower of that knowingness? Who is the knower of that knowingness? That is the question which has to be followed through in stillness. Moment that stillness, which is your true nature, comes to the fore, and the active mind dissolves into the bliss of the spiritual heart and gets destroyed in the spiritual heart. Your true nature as stillness, as pure awareness arises, and functioning happens, which has always been happening from awareness itself. Even now, functioning is happening as awareness. But due to the ignorance, the veil that is there, which claims that I am doing this, it creates a curtain and does not recognize that awareness, which is one's true nature, which one truly is. There's one sentence that on that slides that was shown now by Rajeev ji, where there is one sentence which talks about, I am a wave on the ocean of my river, or in the waters of my ocean or river, whatever. So that the wave is the individuality that is there, essentially referencing that in the vast waters of my ocean, me as the ocean, because ultimately there's only water. The wave is only a phenomena. It comes, it goes away. It's actually only water. Similarly, when that dissolution happens of that non-entity which doesn't actually exist, it's only a notion that I am so and so. And when that awareness of one's true nature becomes one's own reality, then that functioning happens through the spiritual heart, because the body continues. That Sahaja Samadhi, which Sage Ramana was functioning for the 40 years after that realization, because only the body was there. In reality, the world outside is basically the world within. The scriptures say that the universe is not without, but within. The truth of this is realized when the dissolution of the mind happens. That this truth which has to be realized has to be done with tremendous amount of faith and wanting. The grace has to come through. And when that grace comes in, it removes that knot of ignorance. It dissolves the knot of ignorance. It's very important that the desire for desirelessness, which repeatedly is said, has to be very, very strong, without which, however much the mind might try, It is very difficult, because every time the mind is used, the mind is always trying to use thoughts as its clutch. Every practice that is done, it is the mind that is doing the practice, which will never let itself die. It has to keep itself alive. It is only when the mind is not projected outwards without, but projected inwards, that stillness arises. And that's what the stillness sage Ramana is referring to. When he says, throw the mind inwards, what is meant by that is be still. Because stillness is one's own nature. And the moment the mind, there's stillness, the mind dissolves, disappears, because it goes straight to the seat of that pure consciousness, pure awareness. Let us be still, and just for a moment or two, be as you are. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijayji. Very well spoken. Of course, every time you speak, it's you see these spiritual discussions that we have basically is just a means of reconnecting with the heart. So, coming to today's conclusion, it was actually very beautifully presented. One of the things which both Rajeev ji and Vijay ji said is that I am a wave in my own ocean of consciousness. Basically, you see, when you look at it as you are actually sitting, you see how the light of consciousness is actually everywhere. When we talk about the view, the light of consciousness flows everywhere in this view, and that basically is the ocean. And you see that you are actually like a wave sitting in that consciousness. So you have to really bring all these so-called metaphors and scriptural statements into practically looking at how actually they are applying as we are actually, sort of unfolding or having those discussions. And the beautiful thing is that you see, when they say that I'm a wave in my own ocean of consciousness, and as we sit here, this light of consciousness is everywhere, which is the ocean, and we ourselves are the wave. But the truth is that the wave is none other than consciousness itself rising and falling in its own ocean of consciousness. When that is actually practically realized, then there is a movement away from this so-called mind and the so-called thoughts and the so-called mind games, and that's the dissolution of the mind. So I hope that all of you have enjoyed today's, spiritual discussion. So with that, we will close our get together for today. And thank you for all of you for joining once again. Thanks and pranam to all of you.